Welcome back, everybody. Nice to have you. Bo with the Lighten Up with Bo. It's me. Are you having a good week? Are you feeling at peace? Are you a little anxious? Who knows? But welcome. If it's your first video, I'm taking people through the Course in Miracles, which is a spiritual text. You can Google it if you've not heard about it. But we're into chapter 5. And even if you don't know anything about A Course in Miracles, nothing I say can substitute from the experience you might have reading through the course, and of course doing the 365 daily lessons, which are designed to undo the identity or the you that you think is always scared and afraid, and that's really who you are, and remembering that you are the one. You're Neo in the Matrix, that you're the Christ, that you're the Buddha, that we are all this, that our only reality is a reality of one, a reality of wholeness, a reality of truth. Are you willing to give up the attachment that the opposite of that is possible? And that's what A Course in Miracles is. And so I'm going through it chapter by chapter and lesson by lesson and trying to relate it to real world. So we're on chapter 5, and I have this version, which may be out of print, and that's okay. If you have the original version that the blue foundation for inner peace, it's going to read a lot different. The titles are different. The sections are different. If you have the one with the pearls on the cover, it's a lot closer. But that's all I can tell you. So if you follow along, great, but just read it and have your own experience. So chapter 5 in this version of A Course in Miracles is called The Holy Spirit. Are you like me? Are you like me and you've had that voice be like, okay, cool, I've heard the term spirit, Holy Spirit, but what is the Holy Spirit? What is spirit? Some of you might go, well, duh, it's spirit. Okay, cool, show me. Show me the Holy Spirit. Show me spirit. So, the beautiful thing about A Course in Miracles is it has humbled the part of my mind that always thinks it knows. And the part of my mind that presents like it knows and it's very certain, typically I find it's actually just false knowing. It doesn't know anything. And I'm grateful to say, hey, the Holy Spirit and my relationship with Spirit is a journey. But I hope this breakdown of my current understanding helps. So it's called the Holy Spirit. And honestly, I would say it feels like Jesus sitting right beside you saying, can I just remind you who you are? Because maybe you forgot a little. And I don't mean with any shame or guilt. I mean it with kind of like that warm wink. Like he'd be sitting next to you kind of like, hey, you drifted into fear for a second. Let's come back. And so before I kind of really get into what the chapter, kind of what I liked about it, I just want to say this. Please let your own soul talk you through these pages, because the Course has this wild ability to slip right past your thinking mind, the ego mind, the analytical mind, and hit that quiet, soft place underneath. At least that's my experience with the Course in Miracles in these pages. So whatever hits, whatever connects, it connects. And whatever doesn't, cool. Because later in the Course, Jesus says, it doesn't matter if you believe this, understand it, just by allowing your eyes to read these words, something can happen. And that's been my experience. It's like a truth unlocking a labyrinth, a maze. It's like giving me, I don't even know how to put it into words, but it'll land later, right? The more you repeat something, it lands more. So just stay open. And so now chapter 5 is really kind of breaking down the two voices in our mind. And it's not in a dramatic way. It's more like, here's the ego, and here's the Holy Spirit. Here's how you keep confusing them, meaning confusing which one's really you. But here's how you keep confusing the ego and spirit, and here's how we stop hurting ourselves. It is kind of simple, and it's clean, and to me, it's pretty, it's pretty to the point. But the reason I'm doing this, again, is because the Course in Miracles language can be kind of heavy. That's why I only recommend you read one section at a time, but I'm breaking down this chapter all together. So right away, the chapter starts by reminding us what the ego actually is. The ego is the part of our mind that believes that we really did the impossible and separated from God, separated from oneness, separated from unchanging perfect love as an unharmable creative force that never ends, that is constant. You know, the ego is the voice that says, you did it. You absolutely did the thing. You messed up. You ruined perfection. Somehow you ruined it. And now we must hustle and do better to fix it. And it uses fear as evidence. It uses the body as evidence. It uses every single little difference in the world as evidence. And the whole thing is a dream being narrated like it's a fact. So then, you know, I think Jesus swings back to the truth from the ego, and then he swings over to the Holy Spirit. And he goes, the Holy Spirit is the part of your mind that never left God. It never got lost. It never got bruised. That part of the mind that never believed the separation, that is the Holy Spirit. It's the part of the mind that's like a constant mediation of perfect love, that's always in the perfectness, the perfect nature of oneness and love and joy. It never believed in lostness or lack or bruisedness or sickness. It's the part of the mind that's in perfect connection with love and clarity. It never sees guilt. It never judges. It never freaks out over anything. It never loses it. It doesn't panic. Like when we get crazy, that part of the mind, the Holy Spirit, doesn't. It just waits for us to be like, hello, I'm ready for some help. And it's just smiling gently and waiting. And that's kind of like, I'd say section 2, 3, 4, sort of woven together. He keeps describing the Holy Spirit as the real teacher. That's something that's really beautiful. Not that the ego isn't a teacher, it's just a false teacher. It's just a teacher that doesn't really have any truth. It's the part of the mind that translates everything that the ego made into something real and brings you back home. And you know what's pretty wild, in my opinion? It is already in you. It's not somewhere you have to go find outside of you. You don't call the Holy Spirit down from some external place above the clouds. We listen inward, and that is where the Holy Spirit is. Now, also one of the biggest threads in this whole chapter is guilt. And actually, let me say it like this. Guilt is the ego's favorite sauce, the favorite seasoning. It puts guilt on everything, right? Oh, that? Yeah, how about we throw a little guilt? And there is kind of different subtle variations of guilt. Oh, that? Well, there's also a little guilt, right? You wake up and feel a little bit off, guilt. Now, you guys might be going, what do you mean I wake up and feel a little bit off, guilt? Well, you wake up and you feel off, and the ego goes, wow, you feel off? That's guilt. Wow, you feel off? Man, what's wrong with you? Guilt, right? Someone texts you something really weird. Guilt. Oh, I guess I did something. You forget to meditate in the morning or at night. Guilt. See, there it is. You compare yourself to someone else. Guilt. The ego needs to stay alive. And basically, Jesus spends a huge chunk of this chapter saying, you are literally innocent. None of it is true. You have always been innocent, the truth of who you are. Guilt has never told you the truth one time. And so I kind of want to pause on this a little bit. Like, this is where we start relating it to real life. Real world, fake world, whatever you want to call it. Think of any time in your life when you were really hard on yourself. Like for me, it's the times that I've somehow not been able to be fully loving with a parent. And I just don't know how to get past it. And there's the part of the mind that's like, what did we do? What did you do? Man. So any part that's been hard on yourself, when you thought you messed up beyond repair, like how on earth can this be corrected? There's no way. When you thought love or life or God was disappointed, or maybe someone else was disappointed. Every one of those moments is the ego using guilt to prove that you are separate, that we are separate. That is it. But the Holy Spirit never joins that story, not even once. It never even joins in that story. And then the chapter moves on and is talking about projection. And this is where Jesus kind of goes, okay, let me show you how the ego keeps guilt alive. Let me actually show you how the ego keeps the guilt story, the guilt identification alive. When you cannot tolerate your own guilt, you toss it onto another person, place, or thing. You see their flaws, its flaws, their mistakes, their weird behavior, their attitudes. And then we actually think that we are seeing them clearly. But we're just seeing our own guilt flipped outward. And it feels totally normal. We all do it. It feels absolutely normal, especially to the ego. We all call it just being honest or discerning. That's a good one. Or whatever. But Jesus is like, sorry, nope, that is projection. And projection never heals anything. What heals is willingness. What heals is the decision to see innocence somewhere, anywhere, even in one person that you can't stand. To really see the innocence, and that tiny shift breaks the whole cycle. And then we get into the deeper part of the chapter. And this is where the ego really starts to kind of lose power, at least in this chapter. Because Jesus explains that there's a higher court. I think that's one of the sections called the ego's higher court, or it's just called higher court. That we have a higher court inside of our mind, not the brain, inside of the soul, that overrules everything that the ego tries to convict us of, that the ego tries to punish us with. It's basically it's the court of our true self. And in that place, innocence is the only rule, that there is no other rule. It's only innocence, always innocence. What's the rule? Innocence. And it's not innocence that we earn. It's not fragile innocence, like that's really soft and fragile and you got to really protect it, otherwise it can be harmed. It's unshakable, eternal innocence, a state of innocence that cannot be touched. So try bringing any heavy story from your life into that court, into the court of innocence. Imagine if anything in your mind that you up until now believe is absolutely gnarly, heavy, and you visualize, you get into quiet and you say, I'm about to take this to the higher court of unshakable innocence. Right? And the Holy Spirit looks at whatever you bring and goes, yep, there was no real harm. You did not break anyone, anything. You did not ruin creation, and you're safe. And guess what? Spirit means it. And this is where the chapter, I think, is really empowering all of us, because once we see how the ego uses guilt, fear, projection, judgment, blaming, condemning, all of that stuff, you start to realize that you don't have to keep choosing it. We start to realize you don't have to keep choosing those things to be true, that you can choose again. The power of choice is never threatened. We can choose differently. You can always choose. You can choose spirit in any moment, even in the middle of a complete meltdown, even in the middle of being wrong. even when we feel completely numb and cut off. Spirit, the Holy Spirit is right there saying, let me reinterpret this for you. You don't yet know with the state of your current mind, you don't know what anything's for. And that's okay. Let me show you. And honestly, look, that may happen in your own mind. You do a little journaling, you get quiet, and bang, there's the clarity. Or sometimes it might bring that person in that says something and it just blows it all open and you go, oh my God. But my experience is when we truly want to choose truth and a different vision, it will be shown to us. And that's honestly, that is this whole chapter. It's a gentle, really clear invitation to stop thinking that you are the ego and to remember that we all have this higher voice, a voice that only knows peace, and that's all we really are. So as we wrap up my little summation of chapter 5, here is the heart of it. You do not have to fix the ego. You do not have to fight the ego. You don't have to beat it or overcome it. We just stop believing that it has any real power. And it's a practice. There is something in you deeper than fear. Something in us that's older than guilt. Something in us that has never been confused even for 1 second. And that is the Holy Spirit. It's a thread that we're all a part of. And that voice, that memory is constantly saying, I know who you are. Come with me. Come with me inward. So as you go into your week, just try to catch the little ego moments, the guilts, the shame and guilt spikes, the projection moments, the times that you panic over something that is not even real. And pause and breathe. And say even a little something with just a tiny amount of, like a small amount of willingness. Like, I want another way to see this. And then have the patience to let that other way show up on Spirit's time and not the ego's time of impatience. I want another way to see this. Show me. That is us choosing truth, choosing God, choosing love, whatever you call it. That is us choosing clarity and sanity. So, thank you for letting me give you a little breakdown of chapter 5. Please, please read it one section at a time and let it speak to your own heart. The things that will land will land. Don't try to get it. It will get you. Thank you for your heart, for your willingness, for showing up even when it's messy or inconvenient. Keep doing the daily lessons. I know I've only recorded a few, but I'm going to keep recording them. You can always hurry me up. Hey man, can you just do lesson 193? You know? Thank you for your heart and for your willingness. Keep doing the lessons. They really help peel back the layers from the inside out. I'll see you next time when I do a breakdown of chapter 6, where we go a little bit deeper into the correction of fear. That's really what the whole book is. I love you guys. Stay light. It's all light. Stay curious and keep remembering we never left heaven. And heaven isn't a place out there. It's a state of perfect oneness inside you. A place where you exist, the true you that's never left, that's never been harmed, that never did anything wrong. Keep remembering you never left, no matter what the ego says. So if you have any comments, please put them in the comments. Subscribe if you want to be kept in the loop. The Lighten Up Movement website's kind of a fun site where I made a quiz to tell you the what I call the 14 costumes of the ego system that we tend to wrap ourselves in. I do in-person pickleball to help people just play together. I do one-on-one sessions. So look forward to seeing you somewhere, hearing from you. I also do Insight Timer, which is a spiritual app. I do lives there every week. Take care. See you soon.